Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the first episode of The Power of Educating Our Own. This is a show hosted by the Clara Mohammed Schools Network, and we are so excited to be with you today. I am Marsha Nivens Muhammad, a member of the Clara Mohammed Schools Network, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Quran Shakir.
And Patricia Salahuddin.
and we are so excited, as I just stated, to be with you all today. This is our first show. We are happy to be able to talk to you about the Clara Mohammed Schools Network, what it is we do, why we do it, and to really just start to have conversations in the community as it relates to education, both for the benefit of our schools as well as our families. Education is as we know in our community, number one priority, right? And we have to start to have conversation around it so that we're able to see that come to life and come to fruition in all of our communities. And so with that, I want to open up our discussion with who is the Clara Mohammed Schools Network. And so Dr. Patricia, if you can kind of get us started with who is the Clara Mohammed Schools Network, how did it get started, and why did it get started?
Well, thank you, Sister Marsha. I'll be very happy to tell you who we are. We are a network of leaders and educators. We have leaders of schools, and we have educators, people who are concerned about schools as members of the Clara Mohammed School Network. And we got started in 2020, right during the pandemic. And we started off as why? The why is we got started because we were meeting, but we weren't meeting just with us. And we were needing to have that time just with leaders and just with educators and to discuss issues that we were having, concerns we were having, and to be together in a platform where it was a time where we had time to work with each other and share what's going on in each other's schools. So we started meeting in the evenings at 6:30 in the evenings on every first Wednesday of the month, and we would have members from the full-time schools, and we'll have a map to show you later on how many schools we have, the full-time schools, and we also have weekend schools, and some people call themselves strong-in schools. But we wanted everybody who's concerned about the education of our children. We want all of us to come together and talk about what we can do to make our lives better. And so we've been doing that since 2020. This year is 2024. We have covered a lot of ground, a lot of territory, and we'll probably get into that even later on today. But it's been a wonderful experience, a wonderful journey, and I have met some of the most wonderful people working for the Clara Mohammed School Network. It is a pleasure. It is a blessing for us to have this opportunity to do that. And I'll stop there.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful that we did get started, right? Because I just think about myself and the charge that I was given for the Clara Mohammed School in Newark, New Jersey, and having to really navigate that work by myself with a small group and not feeling connected to the larger group. And it really was a godsend to connect with the network, to now have other schools to share resources with and bounce ideas off of and really motivate the work locally based on what other people were doing around the country and even beyond, because we also have the school in Bermuda that's a part of our network. And so it's not just in the country, it's beyond that. And so Sister Khan, I know we talked a little bit about the why, but I kind of want to dig a little deeper into like why I guess maybe not why we got started, but just why it's important. Why was it important for us to come together?
Absolutely. First, I want to say to our listening audience that this is Founders Week for our school system. And when we look at Founders Week, we're talking about the great Sister Clara Mohammed, the great Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the great Imam W. Dean Muhammad. These are people who were the brain trust for our school system. And their trust for our school system really really ignited with their desire and their spirit to educate our own. And that's what we're talking about tonight. This the power of educating our own. So it was just a drive to educate our own because we understood, Sister Clara Muhammad understood in the 1930s that the system that was responsible for educating our children just wasn't adequate. It was not teaching our children who they were, and it was not teaching our children to feel empowered to do for self, which was our main motivation. And so that is a part of the motivation for why we have our own schools. And when you understand that history, when we have a video, we'll show you, when you understand that history of our school system, we feel really excited right now because Sister Clara Muhammad's dream and prayer and her vision is still going on today through these schools that we have. When Sister Clara Muhammad began her brain trust, she began that drive in her home. It was because we were just a few years up from emancipation, maybe 65 years or so up from emancipation. And with that, it was not only children who needed the education, but it was adults who did not, that cruel system of enslavement did not allow literacy amongst us. And so we began to, again, do for self, educate our own. And I remember stories with when I talk with brothers and sisters from Detroit, which was where our first school started. They talk about how many of the individuals who were in the then University of Islam were adults being taught by children who knew how to read and write. So a 15-year-old may have been teaching a 40 or a 50-year-old. Imagine that. So that's a part of the history of our school, and that's a part of the why of what we're doing here as to have this program. We're educating our own.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing it with that, starting off with the lens of a Founders Week
Looks like
and
we're
really incorporating that
frozen it,
because we can see you, Sister Khan. It's a little frozen, but that's okay. We hear you clearly. Um, but but I'm glad that you shared it from that lens because it's important for us to understand how it got started, right? The network is just as young as 2020, but the legacy is far greater and reaches way back, right? And oftentimes I hear people talk about the time that they spent in either Sister Clara Mohammed School or University of Islam, right? And they have such wonderful memories about their time in the school, about their peer group, about being with one another as they were being educated with people who looked like them and understood them and cared for them, and also who had a same who was living the same framework as them, right? And oftentimes now, depending on what area you are in, perhaps you don't have access to that. And so our children have all sorts of experiences where they may not have access to that same thing. And one of our efforts is to be able to really catapult our schools to a place where they can thrive, right? And they can be high quality and they can be that option for families in the community that they feel comfortable and safe and confident in the fact that their child is getting the best education. And so we've talked a little bit about we haven't really talked about like where our schools are located. So I do want to get into a little of that, because I think some people will be surprised to know what's happening right now. But before we do that, we do have viewers watching us either on Facebook or on YouTube. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and put in the chat where you are viewing from. So if you can just type your name in, well, we see your name, but just let us know where you're from. Shout out your city. Perhaps we have a school in your area. Perhaps we do not have a school in your area, and there's an opportunity to create one. And also, for the duration of the show, the chat is available. The comment section is available for you to ask any questions that you have of us and the effords. And so I see Khadija coming in from New York City. Strong supporter. Yeah, she's a strong supporter of New Freedom. So we really appreciate her. We saw a couple of assalamu alaikums coming in from other members of the community. So hopefully shortly they'll tell us where they're coming in from. So
yeah, I'm excited to have all of you on our inaugural program.
Yeah. And this is a long time coming, right? We kind of talked about it, and then we finally got something, coming together. So here we are, and we're looking to have as many fruitful conversations as possible around all subjects that relate to educating our own. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear your commentary, and we want to really be able to use that to strengthen not just our situations, but the situations of everyone, right? We talk about Clara Mohammed Schools, and that system of schools being of benefit to not just a Muslim student, right, but to all of humanity. And I think that if anything, that's probably one of the strongest things that I'd like to get out to our listening audience, is that Clara Mohammed Schools is not just for the Muslim child; it's a benefit to all. We have Sister Vicky watching in from Hillsborough, New Jersey. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Vicky. Sister Michelle from Richmond, Virginia. Sister Michelle with New Africa School, and that's actually a school in our network. It's an online school. So some of you may not have even known that we have online options, and that's something that will focus on and learn. Sister Vicky is sharing that she's a product of the Muhammad University of Islam. Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. So we want to talk about those experiences and be able to share them for the benefit of recreating something similar for the children now. So we love to hear all your comments. And so with that,
you made a good point, if it's okay. You made a good point when you said that our schools, we have online schools. And I think when we talk about the network, it's important for us to help people understand that Sister Clara Mohammed's vision has expanded. So it went beyond that school that was in her home to many schools all over the country. And, sometimes we say there were 50 and sometimes more. But mashallah, when you look at that history, and we had to revamp and restructure, and now we look at who are we now and where are we now? And a part of who we are, when we look at the network, it's not just full-time schools that are in the Clara Mohammed School Network. So our network includes any weekend school, any online school, any full-time school, pre-K through 8th grade, pre-K only, middle school only, elementary only. So we're just really looking at who we are as a school system, and know that we are in various ways identified as Clara Mohammed Schools, and it may not even carry the name Clara Mohammed Schools. The thing that makes it a part of the network is that we are all in the association of Imam Dean Work.
Absolutely. And so I do want our listeners and our viewers to be able to perhaps see like who's in our network. Oh, we got a Madam Q fan in the building. Sister Danielle. Assalamu alaikum from Hadia. Wa alaikum assalam, sis. Glad that you're here with us today. Hopefully, you can join the conversation about education. We also have Al Islam in the United States. We got a few others coming in. Let's see, Salim Bashir, give the salams. Anthony Abdul Haq, Walaikum Assalam, and a few others that are joining in now. But I do want for people to know which schools are in our network. And so as we talk about that, I'll see if I can get a visual on the screen. I'm gonna try to post something up.
And Sister Marshall, when you get them up, I do have some profiles of the schools.
Okay.
Some of the schools we have 6 of them who I can share some information about each one of those. So, well, 6 of the schools shared some information with that I have right now.
Okay.
And then we can start with, as you're getting them up, we can start with our online school, New Africa Online, New Africa Ummah School Online. And now that school has been in operation for quite a few years. And they have a number of students in several different states across the country. Um, and what's unique about the school is that they're from the 21st Century School. We reach the live online classes for middle school throughout the United States and abroad. We also offer high school classes in science, math. New Africa Ummah School specializes in serving families that are homeschooled. And then they also it's also a homeschool cooperative serving families throughout our local area. So those are the things that the online school does, and they have a robust itinerary for this year of enrichment and leadership activities for their students, local, online, and from science to culture. Those are the things that they're doing this year, and they wanted to share that with everyone. And they are planning to receive accreditation for all courses in middle and high school within the next 1 to 3 years. So that's their plan for the upcoming 1 to 3 years. And that's our online school. So have you still working on that map? Okay.
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull it up for us now.
Okay, there it is.
I don't know if I can make it any larger than this. But this
Okay.
is, go ahead.
Okay, we have a school in New Medina. The title of the school is New Medina. We actually have 2 New Medina schools. Well, this New Medina school is in Philadelphia. And this school is serving 6th through 12th grade. And they have 63 students enrolled right now. The purpose they give they offer a purposeful education environment. We challenge and nurture each student to reach his or her academic and personal potential. We offer an excellent core academic curriculum in language arts, mathematics, Islamic Quranic studies, as well as project-based science, technology, engineering, and math, and physical education courses. And what they say is their uniqueness about their school is our primary classes offer a child-centered structure that fosters each student's natural inclination to follow the scientific method of discovery. They taste, touch, smell, manipulate, and investigate everything around them. They are spontaneously curious, and at New Medina, we encourage this curiosity. In our secondary class levels, we provide our students with the tools that empower them to continue taking ownership of their education. Our blended learning classroom model allows them to further become independent learners while also giving them a 21st century educational experience. At New Medina, we base this experience on knowledge and technology. So that's our school in New Medina. And this New Medina is in Philadelphia. And then they'll have a New Medina. We also have a New Medina. If you look closely on the map, we have a New Medina in Mississippi. That's New Medina, Mississippi. And that school is unique in that it is, let me see if I get the right one here. The school is unique in that it offers online, and they're doing online throughout the United States. I think they have schools in Georgia and schools in Pennsylvania. I'm trying to get my paperwork so I can make. Oh yeah, Indiana and Georgia are the places that they also. Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, and Georgia are some of the places that they offer schools. So if you're interested in contacting this school because you're in one of those places, they do have an online presence. Our school provides a full accredited curriculum for first through 12th grade students. We offer supplemental programming to assist those who are homeschooling. We provide service to strong end schools and other programs that are just starting or restarting. We can customize our curriculum to assist with credit recovery courses. So these are three of the schools that I've shared with you, and we have three more that we can share later. But just keep in mind that our schools, as we said earlier, the schools serve not only Muslim children, but they're serving children from across the spectrum.
Absolutely. And so at the bottom of your screen, you'll see some information as to how to connect with the network and see more information about our schools. You visit cmsnetwork.org to learn more information. And as Dr. Patricia just said, we'll share more of that in the duration of the show. And we'll probably bring that map back up. Let me see. I just wanted to kind of bring the top of the map back up if possible, just to kind of give people a visual of where we are in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. And I know this isn't the biggest, so I'll have to see if I can get it a little bigger. But the schools in our network are in California, Wisconsin, Missouri, Arkansas. We have Mississippi, which Dr. Patricia went over, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York and Michigan. And so, excuse me, and Indiana. I almost forgot them. And so those are the states that are currently represented either full-time, weekend, or an online school. So I just wanted to lift that up again. But we do have a video that we would like to share with you all, just to give you more information about the network and the history and how that came about, but also like the impact of it all. So we're going to share this video, and then we're going to come back and hopefully engage you all in conversation. So please use the comment section to ask any questions, to share any comments, so that we can go forward with our discussion.
The rich history and enduring impact of the Clara Mohammed Schools is our story. One of vision, determination, and deep commitment to nurturing faithful, scholarly leaders who are morally sound citizens, eager and ready to make their mark and their contribution. The foundation of our school system began in the 1930s, a time when America was grappling with the Great Depression. During this challenging period, one remarkable woman, Sister Clara Mohammed, laid the groundwork for what would become a beacon of education and empowerment.
Okay, so we're gonna come back with sharing. So on our end, we hear it clearly, but perhaps you're not hearing it as clearly. So we'll figure out how we can share it so that you all hear it clearly. But basically, the video was telling the story of the Sister Clara Mohammed school system and how it came to be. And anytime I hear about that history, I'm it gives me this like nostalgic feeling. I wasn't even there, right? but I guess for me, when I'm hearing it, I'm just like, man, that like those who had an opportunity to be a part of that experience were really, really blessed, right? I didn't grow up in a school system that like that, where um I was being nurtured, not just or that I was being nurtured from my faith base, right, from my faith tradition, and from people who were operating from their faith base or their faith tradition. And so um I don't know. It just gives me chills each time, and I want to be able to provide that for more and more students. My children are a product of Clara Mohammed School. My youngest children, well, my oldest children, my youngest daughter, um, she started in Clara Mohammed School in kindergarten. I think she went up to like third grade right before the pandemic. And then we went into online mode, and and then we kind of survived that, but then coming back was a little rough. And so um let me see if I can get the video going for us again. In the meantime,
And
it's
while you're getting that up, Marsha,
yeah.
I just want to share when Dr. Patricia was sharing that that state of our schools report for those 3 schools, all I kept thinking about was, wow, Sister Clara Muhammad, I think, would be a very proud person right now to see that we are still giving back to our people, because that was her drive, was to uplift us, because we were a people struggling in the 1930s when she was educating and teaching in her home. And then others began to educate and teach in their home. But she created that model. And she was a pioneer, because when you know the history of American education, it was against the law to teach your children at home. It was a requirement that they had to go to the school system that was established, and you couldn't teach them at home. And even bigger for the children of color, we had come from hundreds of years where it was even illegal to learn to read and to write, where literacy was barred from us. And so Sister Clara Muhammad was brave enough, courageous enough to take that stand. And what I see now is that now we are making a way. If you are living in cities where you don't have Islamic education, New Medina and New Africa Ummah are making it easy for you to still get that education. And I love that New Medina said they are accredited. So they've gone through the system to make sure that it meets the standard of the American system, but we also have our own system of educating our own.
Absolutely, and I wanted to share Sister Vicky's commentary. She said it was her best educational experience, and so that comes across to me every time, like someone shares information with me about being a part of University of Islam or Sister Clara Mohammed School. I feel that every time they share it. I'm glad that she shared those sentiments, because it resonates every time someone shares a story. I'm going to see if we can play this video one more time. Let me know if you can hear clearly with a thumbs up. Let's try it.
The rich history and enduring impact of the Clara Mohammed Schools is our story. One of vision, determination, and a deep commitment to nurturing faithful, scholarly leaders who are morally sound citizens eager and ready to make their mark and their contribution. The foundation of our school system began in the 1930s, a time when America was grappling with the Great Depression. During this challenging period, one remarkable woman, Sister Clara Mohammed, laid the groundwork for what would become a beacon of education and empowerment. Anyone who could read and write had the obligation to teach. The goal was clear: to know self, love self so you can do for self, to develop leaders, to foster a new kind of thinking and attitude, to encourage higher order and critical thinking, and to instill a thirst for knowledge and understanding. Sister Clara Mohammed, the wife of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam, was determined to provide her children with an education that celebrated their rich and noble history, something sorely lacking in public schools at the time. Sister Clara Mohammed's initiative and stance grew from a humble homeschool into a nationwide institution known as Muhammad University of Islam. Schools emerged in cities like Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Oakland, Charlotte, Durham, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Miami, and Atlanta, among others. In 1972, Sister Clara Mohammed passed away, marking a mournful time for our community. Yet, her legacy lives on as we continue to strengthen our focus on education. In 1975, the passing of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad marked another period of refocusing and redirection. Imam Worthy Muhammad, son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Sister Clara Mohammed, became the leader of the Muslim community. Changes came swiftly as Imam Worthy Muhammad sought to establish true Islam based on the model set by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, of 1400 years ago. In 1980, at the request of her son, the once Muhammad University of Islam was renamed Sister Clara Mohammed School. Imam Worthy Muhammad instructed school leaders and teachers to take a Quran and a dictionary into a room to revamp and restructure the curriculum. Though operating autonomously, the schools honored his instruction as best they could. Several schools began to close due to the financial struggles, but those that remained open did so with great effort. Many took to heart Imam Worthy Muhammad's words, "We must keep it together even if we have just one school and one student." Milwaukee's Clara Mohammed School expanded to utilize federal funding, which opened the door for students of more diverse backgrounds. Virginia formed an online school called New Africa Ummah. Another online school was formed in New Medina, Mississippi. Atlanta School was the first to seek state and federal accreditation, receiving certification from the Georgia Accrediting Commission in 1999. In 2000, the school achieved accreditation from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, or SACS, becoming the first nationally fully accredited pre-K to 12th grade Muslim school in the United States of America. The legacy of the Mohammed Schools is rooted in families that care about their children's education, a nurturing, family-like environment, and a safe space for children to learn, pray, play, and prepare for the roles as leaders of our homes, communities, and the world. In 2020, the schools united as a network to work on unifying curriculum, training teachers, problem solving together, and celebrating victories. Today, there are more than a dozen full-time schools, 2 online schools, and several blended and weekend schools, continuing the legacy of the Mohammed School system, keeping the prayer and legacy of Sister Clara Mohammed alive and operational. This network, called the Clara Mohammed Schools Network, opened the way for any school in the association of Imam Worthy Muhammad to join and work together. Some of the schools are not named Clara Mohammed or Worthy Muhammad School, but they are still our schools, inspired by the vision of Sister Clara Mohammed. Our schools remain committed to the principles of excellence and empowerment, ensuring our students are well prepared for the future. Our legacy is our power. As we look to the future, we remain committed to continuous improvement and nurturing the minds and spirits of the leaders of tomorrow. This is the story of Clara Mohammed Schools. Our story, our power. Our aim and goal is nurturing our youth's Islamic identity, their cultural heritage, while providing a rigorous, engaging education that prepares them to serve and lead.
Sister Masha,
Beautiful, beautiful.
beautiful. Sister Masha, you were talking about the how it made you feel and seeing the talking about the schools and the history. I just wanted to share with you, and then Sister Vicky mentioned how it was her best educational experience. Well, our school in Bermuda, when I asked the question, well, what's unique about your school? And she says, we are Clara Mohammed School. Our uniqueness first lies not only in delivering our lessons and God's consciousness, but also the genuineness. A trend that I have noticed over 14 years later is that alumni often come back to visit. Some come with tears in their eyes, attesting to the wonderful memories and great foundation Sister Clara Mohammed teachers laid for them. I just want to share that with you from the Bermuda School, because that is a true testament what the schools are doing for our children. And I'm sure she mentioned it in our school, but I'm sure every school can say something very similar to that, how the students come back and what they have to say about the experience that they received at the school. That was our school in Bermuda, and they serve elementary age children, and they've been in operation for a very long time. And we're very happy to have them. We can always say we have schools, and not only in the United States, but outside of the United States in Bermuda. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, so I'm happy we got a chance to show the video, and that people have a chance to see what's still happening. One of the conversations that I feel like comes up in our Muslim community, but I guess in general, right? Perhaps maybe even just general African American communities, there was a time where there were a plethora of schools all over the country, and it doesn't exist in the way that it existed before. And part of what we wanted to do today is to give everyone an update as to what the network is, who's involved in the network, which schools are still thriving, right, or still surviving. When we talk about when people talk about sort of like the stage of organization, they talk about that forming, storming, norming, all of those kinds of things, right? And we have schools in our network that are in various different stages, but they're here, right? They're here, and they're still working toward the goal. And that's one of the things that we wanted to be able to show those who are watching what's still happening, and also to give an opportunity for those who are out there who are not connected with the network to connect with us, because our one of our purposes is to be able to be a resource to each other. So if you have a Clara Mohammed school, and like Sister Khan said earlier, and I think it was even mentioned in the video, not all the schools bear the name of Sister Clara Mohammed, but there are schools in our network who absolutely bear the principles and the concept of a Sister Clara Mohammed school in their education system. And so we invite you to connect with us, because we want to be able to share resources amongst each other so that we strengthen each other's situation. I just wanted to lift that up among other things, but I know we wanted to engage those viewers that are watching in a conversation. And so what are we doing? We're not sure.
Well, while we're waiting, Sister Marsh, I wanted to share, since we mentioned there are some schools that do not carry the name of Clara Mohammed Schools. I wanted to share another school with us
Okay.
that does not carry the Clara Mohammed School, and that is Al Ikhlas Training Academy, and it's a preschool, a pre-K to 12th grade, and it's located in Detroit, Michigan. And they have a 320 enrollment in their school. And the unique things about the school is that they have one of the things that they're excited about is that they have dual enrollment, student council, Spirit Week. They're having Spirit Week very close to the Founders Week as well. Pink Hijab Day, breast cancer awareness, Miss competition at a Dan competition, Quran recognition program, annual outings, a Hajj program, African American history program, Korea Day, and cultural awareness program. And they are right now they're trying to find a permanent building. So and so I guess when I asked the question, what kind of things, what help do you need from the community? And they said, we want our community to support to support the schools wherever they are, across the United States, wherever your school is, wherever there's a Clara Mohammed school, where there's a school that's affiliated with Clara Mohammed School, support those schools wherever you are. And then the last school that I have is a school in Milwaukee, and this school's been around a very long time. During the time of Mayor Worthy Muhammad, the school was around. He would visit the school many times and talk to them about their curriculum. So they're actually video tapes or lectures or manuscript where you have him having a conversation with the staff and the members of this particular school. This school is in Milwaukee, and they are serving 70 students at plus at this time. And the unique thing about them is that we not only serve Muslim students, but we have several. We serve all students with a very diverse population of students, with staff being led by the Quran, life of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and Imam Wardi Muhammad. We are also one of the few surviving African American led schools in the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And they're excited about their school's connection with other surrounding schools and businesses. We are also interested in increasing our network with local and state political figures and academic activities. So these are some of the things that our schools. These are a profile of some of the schools that we have and some of the things that they're doing. And we invite you to connect with them if you're from any of those cities, or if you're not, because we have students who are online schools, and so if you want to connect with them, please do so. Our schools are very unique. And our school, as one school mentioned, we're coming from the Quran with our curriculum. And that is the most important thing, coming from the Quran. And this is where we are providing we're producing students who are well-rounded students, because we know the Quran is our guide. So we coming from the Quran in our curriculum, we can't help but do it right. So we are so grateful to actually we thank Allah every day for Sister Clara Mohammed, because she's the one that really got us where we are today, looking at what we were supposed to be doing with our own children. And that is important, that we have people who are. And I grew up, I'm of that age, and I'm from that place where I went to school with people who looked like me, and the people who taught me looked like me, and they treated me like I was somebody, right? And it was important that I had that experience. And so for us to give that experience to our children today is also important. So back to you, Brother Sister Masha.
No, listen, I'm in agreement that
I
we
want to
want
add.
to be able to. Go ahead, Sister Khan.
I'm loving this because I think it's important for our audience to understand, because sometimes people will say, "Oh, I didn't realize that there was more than the Muhammad Schools of Atlanta." I'm like, yes, we have many schools. And, for people to understand that our schools are working hard. And then you mentioned, Dr. Patricia, that Alec Class Training Academy in Detroit said support our schools. So we want to talk about, what does support look like? For those of you who are watching and listening in tonight, we want you, number one, go spread the word. Go tell people, did you know that there was a Clara Mohammed School Network? That's one. And did you know that we have weekend schools, online schools, full-time schools, blended schools? Go tell the world. What did it say? Go shout it on the mountain. Go tell people. Go shout it. Go tell the world all about it. The other thing is that we have beautiful organizations, like 150. That's a project and a program that's going on. Every month, we're looking for 100 people, or 100 schools, or 100 institutions, or 100 whatevers, to generate and share at least $50 to the focus school. $50 a month to the focus school. And in some cases, because these wonderful people are giving these $50 to that focus school for that particular month, that school receives, mashallah, $5,000 that they didn't plan for. That's a wonderful way to support our schools. We also have people who have great talents and skill sets. Please go ahead and go say, I want to volunteer as a sub in the classroom, or I will teach a class. Or, there are many ways for you to bring your talent to our schools. Serve on our school boards. We have many schools who need people to serve on those boards to bring direction and guidance. So there's so many ways that you can support us. We want financial support. We want support of the talents that God has gifted you with. We want support of your great intellect. So come on and be a part of the Clara Mohammed School Network through your service. So thank you for putting that up there. So definitely you can Zelle us some money. You can PayPal us some money. But go ahead and get involved and connected to the work that we are doing. And if you have any questions, you see cmsnetwork76@gmail.com. Email us, and one of us, because the three of us serve as the board of directors, the board of trustees for the school. So we will gladly respond to your email. And we're here not as just the great leadership, but really as great support for our schools.
Yes, absolutely. Support is a big thing amongst us. Is that's what gets us keeps us going. Is that support that we have amongst each other. Sister Vicky is sharing that they have a weekend school and they're not a part of the network, and they want to know how they become a part of the network. And so we did just share some information on the screen. I happen to know Sister Vicky personally, so I'll make sure that we get that school connected in for sure. And so you'll be hearing from us soon. We also had a comment come in from Brother Salim Bashir, who says, I attended an all-Black school, and looking back on that experience, Sister Clara Muhammad and W.D. Muhammad Schools bring that spirit back for me. Thanks for this telecast, Allahu Akbar. And so, yeah, we're happy to do it. This is something that's been a long time coming for us, and we have conversations amongst each other about where we are and where we're going and how we start to connect with each other. And so to have the opportunity to do that, not just amongst ourselves, but now to have that conversation with the larger community is something we absolutely have been looking forward to doing, because it creates these opportunities, right? Sister Vicky didn't know about the network, and they have a school. And so now there's this opportunity for the network to grow, and for us to be connected to what they have going on. Perhaps they're doing something unique there in that school that we haven't thought about. And now we have that resource in our network, and we have things to share with them as well. And so that's really what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go with it. And future shows, we're going to talk about all the all the good things we have going on. One of them being creating some national standards. And I won't let any of that cat out the bag. That's all I really say about it at this moment. But we have some big ideas, and just some dreams deferred that we are going to work very, very hard to bring to life. And we have and will continue to push forward, and we want that to be of benefit to as many people as possible. In the chat, if you have any questions about the network, if you have any questions about the schools in general, feel free to put that information in the chat as we prepare to wind down. We want to make sure that we answer anything that you may have on your minds as it relates to the schools.
So, Sister Marcia,
Yes.
I think Sister Vicky's question is a legitimate one, and there may be others that share her question. And so, for those of you who Marcia may not know and she can't connect with you, we definitely want you to email us at cmsnetwork76@gmail.com, and we will definitely get back to you to help you to see how you can become a part of the network, because we don't want to leave anybody out. So the work we've been doing for these last 4 years, to me, is monumental. When you look at, we came in as grassroots, ready to get on the ground to meet the needs of our school. So you definitely are welcome and invited to join this mission and this great work that we're doing with the Clara Mohammed School Network.
Absolutely. And that's being shared at the bottom of the screen. cmsnetwork76@gmail.com. Please, 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 send us an email. Let us know what's going on in your area, because we have I don't know if anyone was counting, but on that map and on that list of schools, we have approximately 19 schools in our network, and we're open to that number growing. And so I just wanted to share that.
And if you haven't already, dear listeners and viewers, please go ahead and follow us and like us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And that's another way to stay connected to us and what we're doing. So we want to increase our following and our likes. And when we make posts, respond to them, because that's how we build our algorithm as well.
And I wanted to say that when you join us, you are joining a group of professional people. I just wanted to say that because I have learned, I have been so privileged to be among some of the most professional people that I have had the experience in my career. We have people who do our workshops for us, our professional development team. They are fantastic. No one leaves a professional development without thinking that they're in awe with what of the information that they've received. And we listen to you. We listen to what you have to say, because we have strategic planning. We don't just talk about what we're going to do. No, we plan what we're going to do. So we've had two strategic planning within the years 22 to 2024. We've had two. So and then you have people who, if we had a conference. We had a conference in 2022, and the conference was a STEM conference. And what was so impressive about that conference was the fact that a lot of the presenters at that conference were from Clara Mohammed School alumni. They were people who were graduated from the Clara Mohammed School system in one state or the other. So we have a very promising platform for you to walk into when you come and join us. And we're meeting. We have our regular monthly meetings on Wednesdays, the first Wednesday of the month. So our next meeting is coming up in November. And if you're interested in joining us, please just email us at Clara Mohammed School Network 76@gmail.com, and we'll be able to add you to the link, and you can join us for that meeting.
Yes, and so and I'm going to sum up some of what Dr. Patricia said by saying that these are some of the hardest working people in show business, y'all.
Ditto. I say ditto.
Yes, yes. That's definitely something that I take away with me every time we come together. They're serious. They're hardworking. If an idea comes out today, best believe it's like on step 3 by Wednesday. And it's good, right? It's good because it motivates you to want to do more, to not just be satisfied with the status quo, but absolutely to strive for excellence. And if I don't take anything else away from the work that comes out of the Clara Mohammed Schools Network, it's that striving for excellence. Again, like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube. That's being shared at the bottom of the screen at Clara Mohammed Schools Network. Let's see. We have Assalamu alaikum. This is Khalila Abdullah from Miami.
Miami, yeah.
She's saying it's a great program, historically, aspirationally. A little history. She taught at the University of Islam during the early 1970s.
Yes,
Wow.
She's one of those smart.
What were you saying, Dr. Patricia? Dr. Patricia?
Oh, I said that she's one of those smart cookies. She's one of the ones that she taught science, and she's just, she's phenomenal. So she was a teacher in 1970s, and now she's helping out in the community in other ways. But she's one of our wonderful, valued members of our community here in Miami.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so we
want some program ideas too, dear viewers, because maybe what we'll do is celebrate all of those great pioneering educators. Mm-hmm. Bring them on to tell their stories.
Yeah, yeah. And so as we wind down today's inaugural show, we made it. We did it. We just want to, recap and say that the Clara Mohammed Schools Network is is a collaboration of approximately 19 schools and counting, that share resources amongst each other, uh, our full time, our weekend, our online, our blended, our home, our homeschools, our pre-K schools, for those who carry forward the philosophy of Sister Clara Mohammed, in that education system. And we strive to continue to work towards excellence and professional development, as well as resource sharing amongst each other. And we are inviting you all to be a part of the work in some form or fashion. If you have a school out there that we are not aware of, please connect with us. Our email is cmsnetwork76@gmail.com. We would love, love, love for you to join the network. We are going to be here every Sunday at 7 o'clock, hosting Educating Our Own. And we have some wonderful topics prepared for you in the weeks to come, but we also will take suggestions from our viewers and our listeners, of things that you want to talk about as it relates to education, what's currently happening, the potential for what could happen, and how we could work together to bring it to life. And with that, I'll give my co-host a chance for some last words.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for trusting us and for tuning in to this inaugural program. Look for great things from us. And remember to support a Clara Mohammed School in your area, whether it bears the name Clara Mohammed School or not. And definitely support the Clara Mohammed School Network. Go ahead, like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube at Clara Mohammed Schools Network. Follow us on Facebook, Clara Mohammed Schools. Like us on Instagram at CMS Network. And we're here for you. Imam Muhammad said we got to keep it together, whether we have one child, one school, and we're going to follow that direction.
And I ditto everything Sister Quran said and Sister Marsha said, and I just want to offer a dua. I pray that Allah will continue to bless us, guide us, and protect us, and help us to prepare the children that He's put in our charge, prepare them for this day and for the hereafter. Amen.
Ameen. And until next Sunday, assalamu alaikum, and have a wonderful night. See you next week.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sister Clara Mohammed, a Black Muslim woman from Macon, Georgia, was an extraordinary leader and pioneer. Her contributions, especially in the development of Islamic education in America, paved the way for thousands of Muslim families to take ownership of their children's future, starting at a time when homeschooling was illegal in the United States. She eventually established a network of schools that was later named Sister Clara Mohammed Schools in her honor by her late son, Imam Warith Din Muhammad, rahimahullah. Sister Clara Mohammed helped to establish the important role women had in early Muslim American history and was an inspiration to future generations of leaders. Without her, there would not have been a nation of Islam, or the unique Sunni Muslim community that evolved from it, one that was acutely aware of the concerns and aspirations of women. May Allah have mercy on Sister Clara Mohammed.